Hello friends, it's Deathracer here from Other Miniatures, and today we have another one of the minimum cost Mondays, and we're gonna be working on this car. Yeah, I wanted to say what it looks like, but it looks I forgot the name of the car. So yeah. So what I want to do with this one, I just remember the original Deathracer. Yeah, I am talking about Deathracer 2000, the original one, not the one from 2000. I'm talking the one from the 80s. And in that original movie, the car actually have the protagonist car have like a spikes going through the middle. It was actually a cabrio, so this actually not a 100% ideal. So what we're going to be using this little bit of scrap plastic art. You may say, oh, you know, this is a costly material if you buy it in bulk. This is scrap. I literally would throw it out. So yeah, we're going to be working with that. So what I want to do, I want to have small spikes at the front, big spikes in the middle, yeah, going to the back, and hopefully if I can like put like a hedgehog almost look at the back, I would be delighted, but I know that I'm gonna screw it up. So I just start with a triangular shapes, yeah, and then we can refine them from that point on. And I already hit a, because this would be almost there for like a, yeah. And if I put it like, you see, the thing is that I may say triangular shapes, and yeah, okay. See, the thing is, I want it to be hanging backwards, yeah. So I would love it to be like that, maybe. Yeah, but that still looks bad. So then I want it to be like more like a shark fins shape-wise. So this entire thing is already kind of a disaster, but let's try to fix that to the point where I'm gonna probably cut off my finger or something. But on the other hand, this is Gaslands, so it could be janky. Okay. I think that I lost for a second there my confidence, and then I regained it because I decided that, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be janky. So I'm thinking, you know, one row maybe, and on the back, you know, maybe 3 rows. So let's just try this, yeah? And if it's not gonna work, it is a small waste of cash, because it is, the car is what, 65p, 64, 56, I don't remember. It was cheap, yeah, all of those cars were extremely cheap. So okay, we have the whatever, yeah, the first one. Now this one, I can just cut this a little bit and then round it on the top to go like that. And then I can try to maybe get this. It seems much easier in my head than it is in reality. Yeah. But okay, it's actually working somehow, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm shocked that it's working. I remember that I built something fairly similar in the past, but it was just triangles, and I want this to have the feeling of a, you know, predator coming after you. And I'm not talking about movie predator, I'm talking about, you know, a creature of the deep sea trying to, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Everyone have a fear of sharks, unless you are living in Australia, then you probably have different fears. Yeah, Aaron, let me know what you think. Because, you know, we all know that Australia was a part of his design which we are all afraid of. Well, at least the ones who try to keep the common sense intact. Now, that's awesome. Okay. So that's getting the back spikes somewhat done. Look at that. Okay, this one I was hoping was going to be a little bit bigger. Not back spikes, fins in this case. They would be called fins. So I have the row of 3 of them, each one a little bit different, each one a little bit junky. Now, we don't put anything on the window itself, we're just going to put them in here. I want to keep the functionality of opening a hood, yeah? So we're going to start from like a tiny ones, and I think that this could be a first one. If I cut it to the right size, so like that, and then just pop a little bit of super glue, and shoop. Oh my goodness, it's surprising how badly the super glue can glue sometimes, and then, you know, how quickly it can glue your fingers together. Okay, so we have the first one. Then we need a little bit bigger one. So I can probably use this offcut. And again, we are going for minimum cost. So we are trying to do as well, let's just pretend that we are trying to do minimum waste, yeah? I know that I'm gonna be wasting a lot of this plastic. But like I said, it was going to the bin, so it's not wasted. It would be if I throw it out. Come on. Looks like a little bit of a dinosaur. Yeah? A velociraptor. Joking. I just watched Twitter demographics today, and you know, that was one of the first things that popped out for me in the morning. But I'm gonna be honest, I have awesome morning. I was sleeping and I was dreaming, you know, about choosing my next reincarnation, and I have to choose between a dog and a cat. And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna be either dog or a cat. I chose it to be a pig. Yes, I chosen the smart creature. Yeah, and then in that lovely dream, a dog came up to me and licked me in the face. And then I woke up, and it turned out when my dog decided to wake me up with a lick. So yeah, it was, I'm gonna be honest, I started laughing because I have the dumbest dream ever, yeah, and then I have, literally my wake-up call was my dog licking my face. She knew that I was turning into the pig in my dreams, so that's why, yeah, she's very protective of her food, and she knows that I was becoming more of a piggy than I am. Okay, I really need to give that glue some time to dry, so I just put it down and not touch it. And I'm still thinking, I was thinking about those 2 fins, yeah, to add fins, but right now when I'm looking at that, I think that adding an extra line of fins on the side would actually be a bad idea. But you know, maybe 2 jet engines? So, you know, speed, ramming, not really weapons shooting per se. So maybe 2 of those, you know, on one on each side. But then I'm gonna be screwing with the... Alright, no, I'm leaving this. This is how it's gonna be, yeah? That's gonna be our Deathracer 2000 homage in our minimum cost series. Yeah, and just look at that. It is wonky, it is janky, it is what it's supposed to be. That car, from what I remember, it didn't have armored anything. It only have this thing, and it have like spikes in the wheels and stuff like that. Yeah, but the protagonist, his main weapon was actually a grenade hidden in his prosthetics, which he used to kill the president of United States, who actually allowed the Deathracer. So yeah, okay, I'll be back in a minute after I spray paint the living out of this. In the original movie Deathracer 2000, I think that the main protagonist car was actually painted green, from what I remember, but don't quote me on that. It's just, you know, what is, you know, rattling around in my head. But let's just try, and what we're gonna be using is orc skin Yeah, so it is one of the speed paints, obviously, because I'm using them all the time lately, and you know, I do have quite good results. And obviously on the why I'm using word obviously again, on the white paint, you know, the speed paint have the best results. Like, okay, the problem with speed paint and painting something like that is it doesn't give you uniform effect. Yeah, so like I shouldn't really use speed paint on this. Yeah, but on the other hand, it's a speed paint and I like them, so yeah. So as you can see, you know, it's actually going very well on the surfaces that are fairly uniformed. The problem is once the blotching starts. Oh yeah, I forgot that there was a window there. Whatever. Yeah, at the end it's not gonna be very even. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this and be right back. The paint job is finely dry, so let's just start with other colors. So we have a silver color, which is just gonna fill up the engine bay. It would probably be easier if I just grab a proper paint and the brush, because this seems to be a nuisance with the speed paint markers. So let's just fill it up. I'm not really concerned about that because it's gonna be mostly closed. Maybe I'm gonna open it if I'm gonna be using that for something in the future, but generally just, you know, and forget it. And now, since I already have the brush out, I can close the marker and give the spike the paint job. And again, I really don't care for going back with the black on it. It's just gonna be a pure metal. Yeah, and it's probably gonna look nice on the white surface. Because as much as black, you know, black is forgiving because it's hiding all of your mistakes, when white is gonna actually show all of them. So pick your battles, you know. If you are painting anything really, the black is your friend in a lot of places. Because like I said, it's gonna hide your mistakes. And when white literally gonna show on everything. If you have white in the recesses and you don't gonna manage to get in with your brush, then you know you're either screwed or you're gonna just drown the recesses with the Nuln oil, because Nuln oil gonna save your bacon in this kind of situation, or any kind of dark wash. But generally that's why people tend to do the black undercoat, because on the white the paints are actually showing up much more vibrant, in my opinion. And the black is, you know, when you are painting and you're like, oh, this is an orc with a lot of stuff on it, and it's gonna suck if I'm gonna miss something. So let's just paint it black and forget about, you know, let's undercut it black and forget about the rest of it, because it is a good reason to do the black base. And let's be honest, for a lazy painter like me, white base can be a nightmare. Especially look at this. Yeah, that last spike in here, you can see this white, it's just because it was cracked. And now I just have to pay more attention to this, because I didn't bother to use a, what do you call it? To use a file to clean it up. Yeah, okay. That took me too long to think of. Now let's put some blue on the windows. And I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue why I shook in the marker, because the paint is still in the tip. So it really doesn't make a difference, but you know, it's a habit of years of painting. You are always shaking your paints, even if you just use them. They say years of painting. In my case, it is years of avoiding painting by any means necessary. But you know what I mean. You all know what I mean. Alright, as you can see, like that white, yeah, straight away. Now I notice it because I put this under a different angle. That's why I didn't wash the brush even. Because I knew that I'm gonna have cleanup to do. Okay, now we need to get those rims back into metallic. And yeah, and you know what? We're gonna even now. That's perfect. Now I need to find a brush that should be destroyed or thrown out. Either or. Let's just clean this one up. We can put this back. We have this very bad brush. And we need to grab my weathering colors. So brown, brown, and brown. And for this particular occasion, we're probably gonna grab black as well. All right. So we have matte black, and then 3 different shades of brown. Why I'm taking black? Because I didn't bother to paint the wheels black. So we need to get that fixed. The orange, I don't know if we're gonna be using it, but we're gonna be using this dark brown. Come on. Oh, I already mixed it with black, which is lovely. Then we're gonna be using the bestial brown, which again, I don't mind this being contaminated. I want to get rid of those paints. So, and there we have the graveyard earth. Like, I really want to replace most of my old paints. I just need to find a good excuse for that. Alright, now let's clean this up a little bit. And start from the black to cover the tires as much as I can. Oh, okay, it's already mixed with brown. So yeah. So they're gonna be muddied as much as possible. Now we're gonna take the darker brown. We're gonna add it. Because those are still spinning wheels, it's just very easy to do that. And now let's cover all of the white. Come on. And let's grab other color, smack it over here so that metallic is not even visible anymore. And we're gonna grab the third one, throw it in here. Mix it up. You know, I did such a good paint job, and now I'm just destroying it with the weathering. And I just, yeah, like. Yeah, but what can we do? Oh, too much, way too much. Alright, I think that's good enough for the weathering. Let me just go back with the blue and fix that window that I just left my fingerprint on. If I ever commit a crime and somebody is gonna look for my fingerprints, they just need to look into my miniatures. They're gonna find them preserved in, you know, in super glue and paint. That's absolutely actually a truth, you know, like with my skills I definitely gonna have that done, you know, if I, like I said, if I ever commit any crimes, you know. It's not like I plan to, but who knows, life can be odd. And now let's just try to paint the lights. And I know you guys are probably thinking, what is going on with this guy? He is actually doing stuff that he never does. Ha, you know, I need to keep you on your toes. So, yeah. There we go. That paint, this is like a technical paint, neon yellow, yeah? Not really technical, but you know, like fluorescent paint. So they are actually quite cool, yeah, but it's best go on white. Alright, but this is it for this one. Let me just throw it on the spin table once it dries. And we're done. The car is painted and converted and cost us what, 56p altogether, which is great. As you can see, those wheels are a little bit flimsy. I think with gluing them in actually would be a good option, because you know they are just moving out. So doing something like that would be a good option. And that yellow paint, you know, barely is showing up anywhere. So yeah, you need a white base for it. But yeah, this is the video for today. It is a odd car for me. Like, I haven't done a green-esque car in a while. Not since I done that series on of the military cars. But yeah, if you like this video, you know what to do. Rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, family, and whoever else want to watch it. Yeah, and everyone have a great day and take care. Bye bye.